Okay, so you're here because you're ready to level up your English listening. You want to make that jump, right? From understanding the basics, the B1 stuff, to getting more of the nuance at B2.
Exactly. That's our focus.
You sent over some thoughts about this, about making that specific progress. So, our mission in this deep dive is really to pull out the most effective strategies, give you some concrete steps you can use like right away.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at what actually changes in your listening as you move up. It's more than just, learning more words.
Hmm.
It's really about how you process English when you hear it in real situations.
Okay, great. So at B1, you're probably pretty comfortable with, say, straightforward chats on familiar topics.
Yeah, the basics are there.
But moving to B2, that means tackling more complexity. Like, think about just hearing a wider range of vocabulary. Words maybe you'd recognize if you saw them written down,
Uh-huh.
but they just sound different when someone says them, especially quickly.
That's a really key point. The speed of natural speech and how words kind of blur together. That can be a real challenge.
Definitely.
You might know the individual words perfectly well, but in the flow of a real sentence, they can be harder to pick out.
Right. And that leads to that feeling, you know the one,
Mhm.
where you catch some words but somehow miss the overall meaning.
Happens all the time at this stage.
Native speakers, they link words, they reduce sounds. Going to becomes gonna, that kind of thing. A B2 listener, they start to navigate that more easily.
They follow those longer, maybe more complicated sentences without getting totally lost.
It's interesting, isn't it, how often learners say they get the words but not the big picture.
Yeah. Which brings up a good question for you, listening now. Are you finding that the speed and the flow are maybe bigger problems than the actual vocabulary itself?
Good question. Because often that is the case. It's about tuning your ear, training it to recognize words, just within that faster, natural rhythm.
So, what can you actually do about it? What are the practical techniques? Even if the source material was brief, we can draw on what works.
Yeah, sure. Active listening has to be number one.
Absolutely fundamental.
Instead of just letting the English wash over you, try listening for specific things, specific information.
Even something simple, like after you listen to a chunk, try to quickly summarize the main idea in your head.
Yeah.
It forces you to actually process it, not just hear it.
It's like reading actively versus just scanning the page. Same idea. And I guess exposure is huge too, getting a really wide range of audio.
Oh, definitely. Crucial.
Not just like textbook exercises, but podcasts on things you actually find interesting, interviews, maybe clips of real conversations.
Different voices, different accents. Because English sounds so different depending on who's talking, where they're from.
And the speed varies too.
Exactly. You've got to diversify your listening diet, so to speak.
Yeah.
Don't just stick to one type of recording or one accent that feels easy.
Push yourself a bit.
Yeah. Push yourself slightly. And don't underestimate using visual aids sometimes, like subtitles or transcripts, especially when you start with trickier stuff.
Yeah.
They can really help connect the written word with the sounds you're learning to recognize faster.
Yeah.
Shows you how it all links up in real time.
Okay, so it's a mix then. It's about recognizing more words by ear, getting used to natural speech patterns, different pronunciations.
Uh-huh. And actively working on and understanding it all.
Are you tired of feeling like you only catch, say, half of what's being said? Do you want that confidence boost when you listen to different speakers? These are the areas to really drill down on.
And maybe ask yourself,
Mm.
are you consciously looking for listening material that stretches you a little? Or are you mostly staying in your comfort zone?
Good point. Growth happens just outside that zone.
Usually does.
Right, so let's pull this together. this deep dive on boosting your listening from B1 to B2, the key takeaways are really sharpen your ability to catch familiar words in natural speech, get more comfortable with complex sentences spoken at a normal speed, start picking up on those subtle differences in pronunciation, intonation across different speakers.
And different accents.
And just
Yeah.
consistently expose yourself to lots of different voices and speeds using active listening, using tools like subtitles smartly. That all helps you get there.
That's the core of it. Consistent, varied exposure, plus that active engagement. That's what drives improvement.
So here's a final thought as you keep working on this. Improving listening isn't really a destination, is it? It's more like a continuous journey of paying attention. Keep seeking out English in all its forms, stay curious about how it sounds, and, well, you're definitely going to hear the difference in your own understanding.